Hello and welcome to EBZ Devotion. Hoping you are fine and safe so far to the glory of God. We thank God for another opportunity to continue reflecting upon His word that He gives unto us, a word that can encourage, strengthen, comfort, rebuke, and correct us in the way that we go. And today we just want to focus on how to relate to one another, especially now that we are finding ourselves with time collectively in the home, in areas of engagement, because slowly, yes, things are getting back to normal, but people have been together quite a bit, and we just want to see how well we can make our time of interactions together. And I just want to look at Colossians chapter 3, beginning to read from verse 18. Colossians chapter 3, verse 18. And we are reflecting on wives, we want to reflect on husbands, we want to reflect on children. And for now, I'll just keep it there for these three particular people that are being mentioned here. More so maybe for the wives, because maybe there's much more responsibilities that have fallen on your shoulders, because the family is at home, and figuratively you take the lead role in managing the affairs of the home. But let's see what the word says. Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. This is the word of the Lord, and we give Him thanks and praise for it. Now, wives, husbands, children are all being asked to behave in a certain way. The word is encouraging or admonishing them to behave in a certain way. For the wives, we are being asked to submit to your husbands as is fitting to the Lord. Your own husbands. This is wives generally, yes, who have husbands at home. At a time like this, when even husbands are at home, pressures can come for the wives in many ways. The children are there, the husband are there. People are asking this and that. Wives, before you lose your nut, the pressures of life are many. But either way, you're being asked to submit to your husbands as is fitting to the Lord. In other words, when you submit to your husband, it pleases the Lord. It is fitting before Him. But remember, even in this submission, it doesn't presuppose the husband lives and does anything they want. No. It is within reasonable boundaries of them doing that which is expected of them. Please don't be a wife who's being battered and you said, Brother Claudius encouraged me to submit to my husband. Yes, submit, but your life also is very important and special. Don't endanger it. Where you feel your life is in danger, separate yourself from that danger for a time to bring that healing or restoration possible. But don't be in an environment that can endanger you. So the submission is to the glory of God in the situation that honors Him and doesn't put you to any physical risk. So in other words, submission here is of a humble spirit in all the operations, activities that one goes through, so that you don't have bitterness or a root of anger that can spring up and create a non-conducive environment to your husband or to your family in general. So, and that's why we are being asked to be submissive to our husbands in this verse. Let us take a short break and we'll come back and see what we are being told in the next verses.
We listen to it all the time.
Inspiring and uplifting.
This is Bloom Radio.
The best of you.
Wonderful, love them.
It just makes my day a whole lot better.
It makes me feel good about myself if I'm having a bad day.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Bloom Radio KE.
There's just been so much that has touched me personally.
Other stations could feed your mind, but this station really feeds your soul.
Like us on Facebook, Bloom Radio KE.
Welcome back to EBZ Devotion. And we were just reflecting upon the characteristic traits that we were being urged to have from Colossians 3 verse 18 of wives submitting to their husbands, husbands loving their wives, and children obeying their parents. For this pleases the Lord. And all these activities God is encouraging us to show one to another so that we may live in fellowship, in harmony, one with the other. In the same light, or in the same breath that the wives are submitting to the husbands are asked to love their wives and not be harsh with them. Husband, is there anything that doesn't seem fitting sometimes in your home or family that doesn't go right, and the first thing you do is you blow your tank like no one could ever have taken notice apart from you alone, and you're harsh to everybody, and especially to your wife? You're being urged not to be harsh. You're being urged to love your wife. Care for her, be concerned. Actually, it's to build her up, to strengthen and encourage her. In all her activities and in all her engagements, it is you who needs to show that support, who needs to walk that journey with her in support. That is for you, husband. Children, we are asked to obey your parents in everything, for it pleases the Lord. Now I know, children, your parents don't know everything. There are times they are wrong and you know it. Yeah, because they are human just like you. But it doesn't mean you become rude. No, submit yourselves to them. They are your parents. Give them respect and honor. Even though they don't know all things, but be subject to them. You yourself maybe can bring them to a better understanding when you have a peaceful spirit. When you bring up these things in a gentle conversation, when you're having a conversation, but you're asked to obey. And it is not too difficult to obey if you just put it in your mind that you need to just obey, so that you don't get into any argumentative discourse and war of words with your parents. So it is good to simply obey and continue to do that which you are being asked to. But again, it's also obedience to that which brings glory and honor to God. I'm not saying you obey those things which you know are evil or which you know are against what God is asking us to do, but rather to do that which will bring Him glory and honor. So in that environment of home, we are all being urged as wives, as husbands, as children to walk together in a way that brings honor and glory to our Lord Jesus Christ, by wives submitting to the husbands, by husbands loving their wives and children obeying their parents. And you find the home is going to have harmony, is going to have joy, is going to have free communication one to another, because then we can talk freely to each other to encourage and guide one another in the way that we feel would be best to go. Because the challenges of life are always there. The challenges will never go away. To some extent, it seems like they build up, they become more and more. But the more they become, in other words, also they create in us grace and muscle to be fit to the task, even as we look up to God, because He will not let us be crushed by the circumstances that are around us and that we encounter from time to time. So we can look up to Him for His grace to continue guiding us, to continue providing for us in the families. And I pray that His wisdom and His grace will continue leading us in the way that brings Him honor and glory, even in the family circle. For EBZ Devotions, today I'm your brother Claudius Shemaiah. Until next time, blessings.